Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Xeno, the personification of a cry for help, and we are back with more promises to keep. Now, I'm sorry it took me a minute to get to this one, but as you know from my current schedule, I've been trying to prioritize certain visual novels per week, and finally, it's this one's turn. Anyway, as y'all know by now, Rofi did get an update on his route, and if y'all been watching this on my channel, you know that Rofi's route was actually the first route we chose for this visual novel. So, it's finally time to get back to it! So, let's continue! So the last thing we left off on, in Rofi's route, we did step on glass, and he had to take care of us, and now we're sleeping in his room. So yeah, there's that, and we got a snippet of a childhood backstory between him and Leo. So there's that. And we already know about his religiously strict parents and everything, how like he was sheltered as a kid and he never got to do much. So I'm pretty sure this route is going to delve more into that. Anyway, let's continue. The howling wind. And a steady, persistent pulse. Where am I? I shiver. The wind chill starts to pierce my trusty sweater. No point in standing here aimlessly. I need to stay warm. I inhale once and start walking. Walking through the endless night. Nothing but black, far beyond what I can make out. I can see my breath as I exhale. Getting cold, isn't it? My ear perks up, neck for bristling. Oh, it's Rofi! Oh my god! Wait, are we dreaming of Rofi again? Who's there? Who's asking? Me! Then I don't have to care. Regardless, I come bearing gifts. I feel something, a weight in my pocket. But before I can reach a paw inside, I blink, and something warm appears in my grasp. Oh! It's his graduation photo! A picture frame. Mom and Dad and me. Looking at them warms me, just little. I clutch the frame close to my chest, extracting whatever heat I can from it. But before long, I feel a force tugging it gently away. I look up, squeezing it closer in defiance. A laugh echoes in my head. Wait, is that Rofi? Oh, it is Rofi. This doesn't come for free, you know? Then what does it cost? A simple journey down a paved road. A scenic view. A steady moving vehicle. Surrounded by intricate fencing. We don't want you straying off the path, of course. I tune the voice out almost entirely, focus on the heat radiating through my chest. I mumble in response. Right, that makes sense. As I stand there, I feel all the frost melt away. This is comfortable. An eternity passes, just me and the framed photo. Ooh, whoa, wait, why are we choosing for Rofi? Why the fuck are we choosing for Rofi? Hold on. Stay here where it's comfortable, nothing can harm me here. This is where I belong, forever. I can't help but wonder. No! This is not eternity. Where does it lead? The frame glows dimmer in my paws, a faint warmth. Oh, he's not happy. What? Where does the road go? As long as you stay on the path, you arrive when you're supposed to. And where is that? Where is it? Exactly. I don't get to choose, do I? You can't drive through fencing, no. But what if I want to try? There's nothing but hardship past these guardrails. But is this path really a true choice, with the guardrails up? Of course it is. They're there for your own good. And what if I don't want that? That, my dear, isn't how it works. You'd be refusing a future of stability. A future of happiness. My happiness? He vanishes. Is it my happiness? I call out to the void, louder this time. If not mine, then whose? The frame glows brighter, as if to give me an answer. Then he returns. It doesn't matter. It becomes yours with time. But what after? That doesn't matter either. It'll be enough. Will it? Will it? It won't be. He can see the gears turning in my head. The millions of futures and the millions more decisions playing out. Maybe, just maybe, their love, maybe it'll be enough? A sickening feeling of dread bleeds through me. But maybe it won't. This doesn't feel right. I can't do this. The frame's glow dims once again. Then it snuffs out completely. Startled, I let that future, slip from my paws. I stumble backwards. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Did I? Am I lying to myself? Who am I even apologizing to? Although, that's it then? I'm free? Far from it. Just look at yourself. One blink later, I'm faced with my own reflection. He's so hollow. There is no light in those eyes. Oh shit. Framed, I take a step back. Right on cue, a disdainful chuckle rings throughout my head. I feel the laugh vibrate through my skull. It hurts. How silly of you. This is inevitable, Rofi. You can't run from this. Not without shame. Disappointment. Loneliness. I squeeze my eyes shut and shake my head. Stop. Look at him. Look at the smile he wears. Stop it. He's happy. An unseen power forces my eyes open, and I stare at myself in the mirror. Is it his happiness, or is it borrowed? I don't want this. And you're sure about that? I'm sure. My voice comes out shaky, betraying me. And you're comfortable then with the emptiness? I didn't find something else. It's awfully cold outside. Once you get yourself thrown out, you won't have much time. I will find something else. There's no going back on this. I raise my own voice as if to chase the other voice away. So I won't. Always the optimist. Get out of my head! Oh. There you go, Rofi. Break that facade. I jump backwards, heart sinking. Just like that, the last of the light is gone from my surroundings. I can only make out wisps of smoke now, dancing further and further away. Only then I notice how hard I'm breathing. Hello? No response. Is anyone there? The void doesn't answer back. Of course it doesn't. The cold begins to seep back in. And whose fault was that? I'm an idiot. I didn't think this through. I feel tears start to well up. Then, another chilly gust swoops past me, a reminder of my predicament. I need to keep moving. I take a moment to regain my breath. I wipe my paws across my eyes, drying them. Now's not the time to wallow. I clear my throat, then call out to the darkness once more. So, you'll just watch me freeze to death here? Silence. I look down at the shattered glass in front of me. He was right. There's no going back on this. I remembered the other gift in my pocket and reached for it. A matchbox with a single match. Is this supposed to be a reference to the little match girl? It's hardly enough to keep me warm, so I let it fall back into my pocket. I turn around. Out of options. I can't stay here forever. Onwards it is. I fold my arms, every breath releasing a cloud of steam. I wonder, If I froze out here, would anyone come? Would anyone even find me? I wander in the frosty darkness for a while. Then I sit. I sit and I think. I don't get to do this often, but now seems like the perfect time. I put my head in my arms. I am so cold. I just need someone, something, anything warm. Even if it's not forever. As if the void could hear me, I'm blasted with a wave of overwhelming heat. I look up and open my eyes, scrambling back. No voice. No incorporeal body. Oh. Wait, Hunter is giving him a little kiss on the head, and I'm pretty sure that's Cobalt, one of the creator of this visual novel. And forgive me, I can't recognize this person, but let me know. But oh my god, it's a lot of fucking pride shit. Happy Pride, everyone! Be who you are for your pride. I can't do it. No. Just a simple lit table. Curious, I stand up and approach it. On the tablecloth, I see little trinkets and photos sprinkled about. So many futures. So many chances. Every one flickering bravely in the dark, little chunks of glowing coal on their own, but in harmony, providing the comfort of a roaring fireplace. I do what feels natural in the moment, wrapping each and every ember in my fur. I exhale, resting my head on the altar as I hold its decorations close. The last of the frost leaves my soul. My eyes begin to water. The heat started to become too much to bear, but I cling to the table anyway. Like a parched traveler finding an oasis. I had almost forgotten what love felt like. Oh, damn. Then, a searing iciness brushes over my shoulder. I gasp for the breath I just let out. This here makes for a sorry comparison. I tense up, bringing the decorations closer to my fur in defiance. I thought you left like I asked. I can't bear to watch you waste your life like this. Don't pretend like you care. Well, it's pathetic, really. This sad little bundle of embers. See how they each amount to nothing? But he was happy. But he's happy. You are the physical embodiment of his self-hatred, his disappointment in himself for not following what his parents wanted him to be. Those dreams that the parents want, it's cold, while this, he is truly himself and he's truly happy. I look up. But together, they protect me just as well. Yeah, there's still nothing compared to what you threw away. Take a closer look. I withdraw a little, setting the items back down before picking up one of the frames. I'm flooded, first by realization, then by guilt. How did this turn out for you? I don't have much to say. Do you think his love was worth anything near theirs? Because it certainly didn't seem that way those years ago. A familiar dread starts to creep back. The lit frame in my paw flickers like a light bulb on its last light. Then it goes dark and cold. I look to the altar, still brimming with life. But there are still so many opportunities. Wait a minute, were Hunter and Rofi together? Like, were they briefly together for a bit? Huh. Let's continue. And what makes you think any of them will be any different? I reach out for the net's frame, but before I can touch it, it goes dark. Smoke, once again. Stop that! I try to act faster, grabbing another frame. It glows weakly as I touch it, then goes out. Please stop doing that! Like dominoes, each part of the altar begins to dim, until the very final bit of color drains off the table, into nothingness. Nothing left but the bitter cold. As if to mock me, he appears again, with a smirk. I didn't do anything. You failed. You chose this for yourself. So, you're just letting me freeze here then? You're letting yourself freeze. Luckily for you, you're not out of options yet. I remember now, reaching for my pocket again. Then I take one look at the table next to me, realizing you're cruel. I'm not forcing you to do anything, but it's you or them. I divert my gaze towards the lifeless table again. I'm not going to do that. I turn back around and he's gone. So I sit down once more, leaning against the altar. I can weather this, I think. I hope. Minutes pass. Hours. Days. Weeks, months, years, decades. I can't even tell how long I've been here. I can barely feel my arms or legs. The frost set in more aggressively than before. If I don't do something soon, I'm really out of options, aren't I? It's felt like millennia since I've heard the voice. But he's right. I put myself in this situation, so I need to get myself out of it. I picked up the matchbox, carefully extracting a single match. As I strike it, I glance once more at the photos. All those happy possibilities. There's no going back. It's just like you said. No response. It truly feels like I'm tucked into the void now. I close my eyes, squeezing them tight, as if I could shut out what I'm about to do. As he does, he's burning everything. As soon as the flame meets the first picture, I feel the gnawing cold bleed off my fur. The fire begins to spread from frame to frame. As the table burns brightly, I sink to the ground, huddling close to stay warm. Bask in the warmth. Oh shit. You can't do anything else. The heat feels so nice that I could just break down and cry. Damn. The fire crackles merrily, the only sound left in the whole universe. Please, please burn just a little while longer. Please. But it goes out anyway. I start to regain control of my frigid body as the last of the blaze extinguishes. Forward. I just have to move forward. I can't let the memories cloud my thoughts. I don't have time for that if I want to survive. I picked myself up, looking at the ruins around me. They can't help me anymore. Then, with a breath, I take the first step forward. Oh, damn. Look at that. I stride slowly, each step taken with a cruel finality, as I distance myself from what could have been. I barely notice the tears running down and off my cheeks. The ripples they make, a feeble effort at reaching back to what's already done. What I've already done. Whew. There's no going back. Ooh, the music. How many times do we have to dream about these characters when we sleep? Were Rofi and Hunter together or not? I want to know. And we're in Rofi's room. I kind of forgot, like, when Rofi gets serious, what his voice sounds like. I know that when I give him a voice normally, he has the Ben Distance sort of sounding voice. But I feel like when I go lower with that register, it kind of sounds like my regular voice. So I'm not too sure. But anyway, I wake, not with a jolt, but with a slow, halting shift. My filmy eyes cracking open, the shadowed structure of Rofi's room forming once again around me. No broken glass, no blood, just a stiff and choking silence. And the faintest hint of smoke. Smoke? Oh, it must be for the dream. Okay. My injured paw twinges slightly. I raise a paw to my face and rub my eyes, only then realizing how damp my cheek fur is. My paws meet the mattress, sheets just slightly stained with tears. Probably mine. A sense of gentle dread pulls me back under the covers, but I resist. It's still dark outside. I shuffle about for my phone, my joints popping and crackling softly. Not quite 5 a.m. I shiver, suddenly racked by chills. Rofi must have moved while we slept. He lays now with his back to me, fuzzy shoulders rising and falling rhythmically. Last night I would have pressed myself against him, arms encircling his torso, cradling his warmth next to mine. Now, I am hesitant. Hesitant to strike another match. Still so frightened, even after all these years. The timid animal inside me triumphs, just like it always does. I rise silently, with only the slightest rustle of sheets, and gather up my things. I slip my jacket over my bare arms. Cold comfort and a poor replacement. But safe. Endlessly safe. A poor replacement. A poor replacement, damn. I look back one last time before I slip into the hallway. The gentle rise and fall of Rofi's shoulders seem to have stopped. Is he awake? Awake and holding his breath? Waiting to see what I'll do? I cross the threshold and shut the door with as quiet a click as I can manage. There'll be no more sleep for me tonight, so that means it's time for coffee. I pad down the stairs, head for the kitchen. I can hear the wind howling insistently outside. The windows are all covered, and the snow seems to have picked up since yesterday. As I approach the kitchen, I notice the lights are on. Someone else must be awake already, too. I weigh the odds of seeing someone else against getting my coffee, and the coffee wins out. It's Theo! Our favorite old man. It's Theo, sitting in his usual spot. The fox is tapping aggressively at his phone, eyebrows furrowed, a full mug getting cold in front of him. His eyes flick up to me in a brief hello before falling back to the phone screen. That's not like him, something must be up. Oh yeah, because with every route that we were on, it ends when we go to sleep, so this is technically the next day after all these routes, so we did some more development with the story. Yay! Also, are we ever going to get an explanation as to why Leo can see everyone's backstories when he dreams? Are we gonna see that? Are we gonna get an explanation as to why that happens? But yeah, what the fuck's going on? I was kind of planning on getting my coffee and leaving, but I should probably see what's troubling him. Morning, Theo. Everything alright? He continues hammering at the screen, offering nothing further. Though his voice, what little I've heard of it, is flat and controlled, his entire body is tense like a rubber band pulled taut. I can't quite place whether this is lingering stress from yesterday or a result of some new crisis. Or maybe this is what he's usually like, and the cheerful veneer I've grown used to has been a facade. Maybe a mix of all three. I make my way slowly over to the coffee machine. I find myself almost tiptoeing, not wanting to disturb whatever he's doing. The gurgling coffee pot seems to take days to fill. Finally, with a steaming mug in hand, I settle down at what has become my seat. We sit quietly for some time. I sip my coffee, he ignores his. Right when I decide to break the silence, he speaks, his voice hard and flinty. I have to struggle to keep myself from flinching. I think Diana, the old you in number 27, is still in her apartment. Oh, we did get a new person. Oh. The table falls silent again, save for Theo's frenzied tapping. Are you talking to her now? No. If she even has a cell phone, it would be dead by now. I'm talking to the fucking Robinsons at number 30. The venom in his voice surprises me. It jumps out for only an instant before he tucks it neatly away again. Are they... Across the street from her, yes. Another long moment of silence. Theo breaks it by setting his phone firmly down on the table, face down. He looks right into my eyes, and suddenly I see the barely contained fury, the panic, seemingly mere moments from breaking loose. They won't agree to let her stay with them. That woman is almost 90 years old. She is tiny and real thin. If she stays in that house much longer, it's gonna kill her. Well... I try to keep my voice from shaking. I know his anger isn't directed at me, but I feel flattened by it all the same. Maybe we pay her a visit to see if she's alright. She's not. I went over there earlier today and banged on the door and all the windows until she answered. She said she wasn't leaving the house until she knew she had somewhere else to go. Only now do I notice the coat draped over the back of his chair, the melted snow still clinging to his fur in patches. How long has he been awake? When I don't immediately reply, he snatches up his phone again and resumes tapping with renewed ferocity. Thinkly, you gotta say something. I don't know if you've already done this, but... You could call the Robinsons, like, instead of texting. Maybe here in your... Theo shakes his head jerkily, no longer able to contain the anger in his voice. If I do that, I won't be able to stop myself from yelling at them. I believe him. From his expression, it feels like he's about to yell at me instead. Well, maybe they need to be yelled at a little bit. Maybe they deserve it. No. The volume of his voice rises, the tone sharpening to a lethal point. Theo? Calm down, please. I know Tom Robinson. I know what kind of person he is. That would only make him double down. In fact, that's exactly what he's waiting for. The moment I start shouting at him, he'll take it as proof that he was right all along. Theo begins to tap his foot loudly on the floor, with such force that the table begins to shiver slightly. I rack my brain, trying to think of something else to suggest. I want to help, but I don't want to make him more upset. Well, what if we brought her here? I mean, I don't want to invite people to your house without your permission, but... Oh god, no! Theo raises a paw and cuts me off sharply. You don't understand! I physically shrieked into my chair, eyes dropping deep into my steaming coffee. Even on her best day, I'm not sure we could get her up the street. Not with this much snow. And she's been sitting in that fucking house for 3 days! He shouted now. The Robinsons live across the goddamn street! Given her condition, it would be a miracle if we can even get her there! And they won't open the fucking door! On the last word, he slams the table with a paw, and some lukewarm coffee splashes out of the forgotten mug. The room is very silent now. The kind of silence that only makes itself known after shattering noise. Theo's gaze shifts down to his brown, spattered paw. His expression curls into a mix of emotions I can't quite place. I worry if I open my mouth, even to breathe, I might cry. But I have to say something. Theo, why don't you let me talk to them? His voice almost makes me jump. A torrent of guilt spikes through me, though I'm not fully sure why. Hey, Rofi! How you doing? Rofi stands in the doorway to the kitchen, tucked once again in his red sweater, fur messed up and spiky from sleep. Persuasion is one of the first things you learn, working in the emergency department. Serious Rofi is back in full force, face and thin, tight lines, eyes full of calculations. And if they hear the same thing from multiple neighbors, it might convince them. I turn back to Theo, holding my breath. I finally find my voice. You look like you've been worrying about this all night. Let's take care of things from here, okay? Theo, you're clearly exhausted. We will let you know as soon as we have a plan, okay? We're gonna get her out of there, I promise. The moment that passes is one of the longest and quietest of my life. Okay. The word comes out as a sigh. Some of the tension escape along with his breath. I will leave it to you two. He sliced the phone across the table towards me, touching it gingerly, as if it were a mildly dangerous animal. We'll keep you updated, Theo. Please, take a moment to rest. The fox nods once and heads towards the door, swaying slightly. He stops briefly in the doorframe and turns back to us, eyes not quite meeting ours. The code is 061710. Thanks, you two. I really appreciate this. And then he's gone, and it's just me and Rofi in the kitchen. Well then, now what? I find myself avoiding his gaze, and pondering a familiar question. Are you mad at me? I guess we can't just have a quiet morning around here, huh? No, apparently not. His voice is soft and welcoming, if rough from sleep. I figured you might be down here getting water or something. But then I heard Thea from the stairwell. Yeah, I was planning on getting some coffee and coming back up, but... Was I? Is that true? But duty calls, right? Right. I can feel his eyes searching me, assessing my condition. I can do most of the talking if you like. I would appreciate that. Honestly, my nerves were still frayed from the dream, and Theo's outburst certainly hadn't helped. Rofi finds the test conversation with the Robinsons and hits the call button. He puts it on speaker and sets the phone back down on the table. It rings. It rings. Until they finally answer. Yes? A gruff male voice, halfway too angry already. Good morning, sir. This is Rofi and Leo, two of your neighbors calling from Theo's phone. Rofi's voice is clean, clipped, and professional. He's certainly done this many times. I know you and Theo have been in touch regarding the woman in number 27. He waits for a response. We have, yes. Grudging, non-committal, approaching annoyed. Excellent. I hope you'll pardon my interrupting your test conversation, but as a trained emergency responder at our local ED, I thought I'd step in and give my opinion. A physician assistant's opinion. He lets the last few sentences hang in the air for just a moment before continuing. As I'm sure you're aware, the temperature outside is well below freezing, even without wind chill. Number 27 has been without electricity for 3 days now. Realistically, the temperature inside that apartment is likely approaching the temperature outside. The woman inside is at high risk for hypothermia and frostbite at the very least. At worst, she may not survive another day. With all of this in mind, I would like to ask you a favor. Would you be willing to let her stay with you for a few days, until the power comes back on? Static. I understand that Theo has already asked you this favor, but I felt it might help to hear it again from a medical professional. He stresses the last two words, arms now crossed tightly over his chest. Is she really as bad as all that? Annoyance again, tinged with what could be concern. Rofi rolls his eyes sharply, but his voice remains steady. Yes, sir, I'm afraid so. I have performed many death exams in the emergency department, and I would prefer to not have to do that if we checked in on her tomorrow, and she's still at her place. I think of Rofi leaning over her stiff, frozen body, still propped upright in the chair. My stomach jumps out from under me. The thought of Rofi touching her corpse feels somehow wrong. Something so warm and something so terribly cold. Not to mention the possible legal fallout between her family and any individuals involved. We see lots of that in the ER too. Legal battles that extend months on end, even if one party is clearly in the right. More staticky silence. Well, alright if you really think it's necessary. The most reluctant acceptance I've ever heard in my life. My wife hasn't had time to tidy up, so... Oh, that's quite alright, sir. Rofi cuts him off and begins rattling off a list. As long as there is somewhere comfortable for her to sit and some blankets to wrap her in, as I'm sure she'll be cold. Perhaps a warm drink? If you have a fireplace and it isn't already on, I suggest lighting it. Well, hold on now, We'll start preparing to head over to number 27 right now. I'll be in touch with you if we need anything else. Please do remember that time is of the essence here. Well, at least tell me when you're expecting to bring her over. Like I just said, sir, we'll be there as soon as possible, likely within the hour. Please do your best to be ready for us. Now, before I hang up, do you have any other questions regarding preparations for her care? Well, no, I suppose not. Alright, good. We'll see you soon, sir. Thank you. Rofi hands out the call with a decisive motion, and sighs deeply, rubbing his eyes with both paws. Wow. Rofi, that was seriously impressive. He laughs a bit wryly, without uncovering his eyes. Practice. Alright, we better start getting ready. Right. I take one last fortifying swig of my coffee and stand. I think I'll start waking the others. We might need all hands on deck for this one. Sounds like a plan. I'll go update Theo. Great. Grab your warmest clothes and we'll meet at the front door in 5. I nod and walk briskly back to the living room. I find Theo sitting on the couch by the fire, leaning forward, paws clasped in front of them. Theo, good news, they agreed. That easy, huh? I guess all they had to do was hear from someone besides me. Well, Rofi is a PA. He knows how to handle situations like these. Theo hesitates, then nods, his expression softening somewhat. Fair enough. Good that he's here, then. Let's help Rofi with the others, and then we can head out. With only the slightest bit of difficulty, we get everybody out of bed and downstairs in just a few minutes. I think Ollie might be up already. The mood is muted, due to the early hour, but tightly focused. All of us are clearly ready to do what needs to be done. Okay, everyone have your phones? We all nod. I'm guessing we'll need shovels once we get there. I have 2 sitting outside. They're plastic, but the metal ones are all in the garage and we don't have time to dig them out. I have a metal one at my place. So do I. Great, you two go fetch those. Stick together. You never know what could happen in weather like this. Meet us at 27 as soon as you can. Got it. Sure. Theo nods once again and opens the door, ushering us into a barely blasting wind. We're going to a wasteland trip. It feels colder than ever before. As I take the door from Theo to let everybody out, I see Ollie shiver and pull his coat tighter around himself. Hi, Ollie. Hunter gives me a smile and a nod, taking the door and turn from me. We follow out into what we think is the covered sidewalk. Artemis and Hunter head immediately for their houses, and Theo and I grab the shovels laying right next to the porch. The sheer volume of snow is almost unbelievable. Theo and Hunter's shoveling work from the previous day is basically unnoticeable. When I beheld it all 3 days ago, I felt wonder. Now I feel only fear and apprehension. The fierce wind whips the snow into uneven piles. Paths close to walls are the worst, with miniature hills heaped halfway up to the sides of houses. Cars unfortunate enough to be left out on the street are almost completely hidden. Vague shapes in the expanse of white, punctuated by a side mirror or the reflection of an exposed headlight. Nobody will be driving anywhere for quite a while. We trudge along in a single file, Theo at the vanguard, the rest of us following the path he makes. He does his best to pit the shallowest paths, where the snow is only knee-height at most. Damn. I wonder, are we gonna get a sprite for the U? Finally, we arrive at number 27, the wind tearing at our coats. Theo gestures towards a narrow passage, leading to the backyard of the house. He shouts, to make himself heard over the tempest. Oh my god, Ollie looks so cute in his little jacket! I love it. I love him so much. Also, yay, we get new sprites for them! Her apartment is back there. She lives in the back half of the house, and the folks in the front are out of town. So we can't go through the front? Theo shakes his head. I already tried. Her door's in the backyard. This is going to be trickier than I thought. Not only do the snow piles constrict an already narrow pathway, but the uphill entrance to said pathway is mostly blocked by a submerged car. How the fuck are we going to do this? Theo's head and ears start swiveling back and forth, taking in the scene. I can almost hear the gears turning in his brain. He gestures for all of us to huddle up. Okay. She can't walk in this, and she'll never get down the driveway, let alone cross the streets. I'll have to carry her out, but I don't want to risk that until we clear the path a little. Theo's eyes flick to the house, and then to Rofi. Rofi, I think you better be the one to check on her. I'll come with you to make sure she opens up, but after that I'm leaving her to you, okay? Okay. His voice is steady, but I've known him too long to be fooled. Rofi is incredibly nervous, almost sweating despite the cold. Good. I'm counting on you, Rofi. I know. After a long moment of eye contact, Theo turns to me and Ollie. You two start shoveling. We'll need as much of this driveway cleared as possible. If we can get her keys and get the car out of the way, that's even better. Even if we have to put it in neutral and push it, every bit of space helps. I nod, glad to receive clear, direct instructions. Tell the other two the plan once they get here. Have them start clearing a path across the street to the Robinsons. Once I get you inside, Rofi, I'll be going across the street as well. I need to make sure Tom has everything ready. Maybe I could even get him off his ass to help shovel, though I doubt it. As soon as you've cleared a good enough path, I'm carrying her out, no matter what she says. Everyone clear on the jobs? Yes, sir. Yes. Rofi doesn't sound quite sure. Yes. Then let's get started. Clock's ticking. Ollie and I immediately dig into the driveway, but I keep one eye focused on Theo and Rofi. The two of them sidle around the car, Theo doing his best to clear a path through the small space between it and the house. Rofi looks back at me once, then turns away when he realizes I'm already looking at him. They vanish into the backyard, and I turn my full attention to shoveling. Despite his aversion to colds, Ollie is good with a shovel, clearly an old hand at this. He and I managed to clear most of the bottom half of the driveway when Artemis and Hunter arrive, carrying stout metal shovels on their shoulders. Where are we dropping, boys? You did not just say that. Theo needs us to clear the driveway, so maybe we can move the car, and then a decent path across the street to number 30. I indicate the well-lit house across the street. He's gonna carry her out, so... Say no more! Hunter immediately takes to shoveling with enthusiasm, and Artemis quickly follows, cutting efficiently across the snow-choked street. At that moment, Theo reemerges from behind the car and begins making his way to number 30, pausing only to slap Hunter on the back to give Artemis a nod. I feel a tug on my sleeve. Hey, Leo? I don't want to tell you what to do, but... if you want to go inside and help Rofi, the three of us have it covered out here. I blink, surprised, shovel halfway stuck in the snow. It's just... I could tell he was pretty nervous about having to handle her alone, and you kept looking at him, so I figured... honestly, yes. The moment Ollie offered me the possibility, it became the only thing I wanted. Are you sure you'll be alright? Just the three of you? We're better off out here than he is in there. I think he needs another set of paws, at the very least. I heave the last heap of snow off to the side and jam my shovel upright into it. Thanks, Ollie. Of course, just go. With one more thankful nod, I start trudging towards the house. All of a sudden, the urgency hiding just below the surface breaks through, and I find myself almost racing through the snowbanks and through the rickety old gate. There's the door just ahead. I turn the handle with an unwelcoming squeak and force my way inside. Oh, dear! It's a mess in here. Oh, shit. What happened in here? Fucking hell. What's tea? The combined stench of cigarettes and mildew hits me like a wall. Deep breaths, Leo. Bad idea. I swallow a bottle of hacking smoke-choked coughs. Okay, maybe shallow breaths are best. Yeah. I make my way through the small entryway into the living room. As I enter, a gruff, hoarse voice greets me.
Who's this?
Oh, there she is. Oh, we did a spray for her. Yay! I spot the two of them immediately. The old woman glares at me from her ancient armchair. Thin, pale, and trembling, one milky eye staring off past me into forever. Rofi turns to me with something approaching full-blown panic, contained only barely by his professional demeanor. Diana, this is my friend Leo. He's here to help. In fact, he arrived just in time.
More help? Not sure how much more help I could take right about now.
I promise we're doing our best to get you somewhere warm.
Your best, huh?
She laughs, a sound like marble on a cheese grater. Leo, can I talk with you for a moment?
Listen here, pup. If you're going to talk about me, you might as well do it right in front of me.
I'm glad I came in when I did. The vibes in here are absolutely rancid. Somehow maintaining his calm, Rofi turns fully to me. I'm very concerned for her. She's been sitting here drinking for days. The old woman stops loudly, interrupting him. Rofi presses on. I was just in the middle of speaking to her when... Diana, would you mind showing Leo here your hands? Tsk. She removes her thin arm from her pocket.
You still worried about this?
Her bony hand jerks rhythmically, back and forth, back and forth. This started happening. She stuffs her jittery hand back out of sight with a dismissive huff. I don't know if this is a tremor, some kind of weird Parkinson's thing, or... I realize that my question falls on deaf ears. The dog is clearly deep in thought. As I observe his expression, I notice that my incident yesterday sent a chill through my spine and down to my footpaw. Rofi? Yes, sorry. He turns back to address the frail lady. Diana, has this kind of movement ever happened before?
What, like in my life? Hell, I probably lived 4 times as long as you. You expect me to remember everything?
Without missing a beat, Rofi continues his line of questioning, trying to specify. Have you ever noticed your arm shaking like this? Maybe you were diagnosed with a movement disorder at some point in your life? She ignores him, her shaking hand now occupied with digging around underneath the chair cushion. Diana, I need you to work with me. Do you have any medical conditions that you're aware of? She conjures a beaten up old flask from the chair and knocks it back before tossing it onto the floor. Empty. Rofi keeps his eyes on her, unaffected by her behavior.
I've got diabetes.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Rofi nods and pulls me aside. I really doubt her medical history is that clean, but we'll work with what we have. I think this to be some kind of diabetic exacerbation, especially if all she's been consuming is alcohol. But I'm still hopeful that it's just a benign movement disorder. Or, then again, it could be more sinister. Maybe medication induced? I need to see what she's taking. Actually, now that I think about it, if she's been drinking a while, it could also be some sort of acute liver issue, like hepatic encephalitis. But then, if that were the case, the exacerbitis would present bilaterally. I give him a blank stare as he trails off. Okay, what's the plan? Sorry, I'll try to curb the jargon. I think the first step here is to get a blood glucose level. It'll be quick and it will help you rule out causes for what's happening. Rofi looks at me, seemingly expecting a response. I blinked back at him, thoroughly unsure of what to say. Sure, that sounds good to me. You're the doctor here after all. The moment the words leave my mouth, I regret it. Oh, fuck. Rofi visibly flinches, and the old woman stops again, inserting herself into the conversation like a knife through flesh.
No, he is not. He was very clear about that when we walked in.
He raises the pitch of her voice, poorly miming the dog.
Oh no, ma'am. I'm just a physician's assistant. Great. Even here on my supposed deathbed, I can't get a real doctor. How old are you anyway?
26, but that shouldn't matter to you.
You don't look any older than 20, and they gave you a medical degree?
The dog exhales, clearly trying to let her words roll off his fur, before directing his attention back to me. She has diabetes, so she should have a monitor and needles lying around. Would you be okay to start looking for those things? Yeah, I think so. What does the monitor look like? Rofi pulls out his phone and shows me a few images. I'm honestly amazed she's this lucid. Diana calls from the couch.
I'm old, but I'm not deaf. They not teach you manners in medical school?
Rofi winces but doesn't take the bait. Okay, why don't you go ahead and look for those supplies? I'll try to continue my workup. We both turned around to face her, and right as we prepare to split off, he freezes. It doesn't take long for me to figure out why. In the few minutes we've turned our eyes off Diana, the jerking movement spread to her arm. We look at each other, and I see a new emotion in his eyes. Fear.
Diana?
His voice breaks. Rofi clears his throat and tries again.
Diana, it looks like the movements are progressing up your arm.
Is it okay if I try to suppress them?
Knock yourself out? If I don't knock you out first.
Her immediate assent surprises me. Maybe she's finally starting to realize the gravity of her situation. Rofi kneels next to her, presses his paws down against her arm, but the tremors don't stop. He tries for a few more seconds, then gets back up. Diana, can you still hear me? All she does is glare at him, but she clearly can. Rofi and I make eye contact again, and I can start to see panic set in. Oh god! Leo, I think she might be having a focal seizure. It's a kind of seizure that can start at one place and spread to the rest of her body. I need you to grab the glucose monitor and... As if it couldn't get any more chaotic, Theo interrupts the disaster in motion by breaking open the door and clopping inside. His eyes are steely and wild, and his hackles are clearly raised. Alright, are we ready to go? His voice has a harsh, husky quality to it, as if he just finished yelling. He takes a quick look at the scene, at the old woman still in her slippers, and realizes that we are, in fact, not ready to go. His brow furrows more deeply. What's the problem? Rofi speaks in a low voice, though I can't tell if it's to keep Diana out of the loop or try to calm Theo.
Theo, Theodore, who is this child? You said he was a doctor.
So much for keeping her out of the loop. No, I didn't. I said he was like a doctor.
Unbelievable.
Theo ignores her and turns to Rofi again, taking another step into the room, tracking huge piles of snow on the ancient carpet. Rofi, what's going on? The Robinsons are ready. Theo's tone catches me off guard, and clearly does the same to Rofi. The dart starts stumbling over his words, gesturing alternately at himself, me, and Diana. I understand that. I'm trying to get a figure straight because I'm concerned for... Is this absolutely necessary? Because we don't have time for anything that isn't absolutely necessary. Tom gave me a dump truck's worth of shit just now. I want to get her across the street before he changes his mind again. The U pipes up, staunchly refusing to be left out.
What in the hell did you bother Tom for? That rat bastard's always hated me.
Theo ignores her, directing his gaze and his words only at Rofi. So, unless we got a real reason for the delay, I'm taking her now. Then another first. Something clicks in Rofi, and his voice rings out sharp and deliberate as a scalpel.
Well then, Theo, why don't you tell me why her arm is shaking like that?
He gestures exasperately towards Diana's worsening arm tremor. Theo's eyes flick towards Diana, then back to Rofi.
I am trying to figure this situation out, but I can't when I'm being constantly interrupted.
Alright then. Theo interrupts. Figure it out. Diana, where's your glucose monitor? The one you use to check your sugar for your diabetes. She eyes Rofi with explicit hostility.
I don't know. Damn thing hardly ever works anyway.
Theo interrupts again, scowling. Where is it, Diana? She scowls right back.
Don't you dare barge into my house and take that tone with me. If I had to guess, it's probably with the rest of my medical shit in the bathroom. Or the kitchen, maybe.
Theo opens his mouth to retort, but Rofi quickly takes the reins back from him. Okay, Leo, look for a monitor. Theo, I need to grab anything with sugar in it. Check her fridge for juice. Also, Leo, if she has any sleeping medication, like the benzo, grab that too. What is... Diazepam, lorazepam, anything that ends in Pam. It'll be a bottle of pills. They aren't a priority, but I may need them if she doesn't stop seizing. I need everything else now. Theo interjects, saving me from having to ask any more follow-up questions. I know what those look like, Leo. I'll look for them. Rofi just nods, dismissing us both, before redirecting his attention to Diana. I'm not used to seeing Theo take a supportive role in a crisis, and from the expression on his face, neither is he. But I'm glad to see him settle into it. Whether he realized it or not, he was making things worse. Okay, Diana. Try to stay away to focus on my voice. I'm going to ask you a few questions, alright? The fox brushes past the both of us, and I take that as my cue to exit too, leaving the dog to fend for himself with the old sheep. After extricating myself from the scene, I quickly locate and stumble into the bathroom. I throw the medicine cabinet open and surprisingly find exactly what I'm looking for, the monitor and a ripped open plastic package labeled finger sticks. In fact, half of the finger sticks spill out into the sink when I open the door, a result of the open package being shoved violently into the overflowing cabinets. Really can't worry about that right now. I make my way back into the living room, Rofi still kneeling and holding Diana's arm as it repeatedly seizes. Theo's already back, sitting on the floor, clutching a bottle of pills in one paw and several juice boxes in the other. Damn, how fast did Theo move and that he beat me back here? Rofi's ears perk up as he hears me re-enter the room. Good. Pass the supplies here. He practically snatches the monitor and finger sticks out of my paws and sets them on the floor. Okay, Diana, I'm going to take your blood sugar. He gently grips her non-seasoned arm. Just a little prick. Sorry. She winces as Rofi uses one of the finger stick needles to draw a drop of blood. He carefully holds her arm as he turns around. Alright, I need the reading strip now. I freeze, staring at Rofi's outstretched paw. Is he talking to me? He never mentioned reading strips, did he? The dog scans for what I brought him and realizes. It's not here. I can see frustration start to bubble up in him, though he does well to keep it out of his tone. Leo, go back to where you found the monitor and look for the reading strips. They should be in a package. His expression, though, isn't as convincing. I didn't think those warm blue eyes were capable of turning as cold and hollow as they were right now. Yeah, sorry. I step her out of the living room again, berating myself for being useless. As I throw the bathroom cabinet open once more, I quickly spot the strips, sitting neatly in a cup a few shelves down from the monitor's spot. I extricate the cup, knocking a few more balls into the already junk-filled sink. Still don't have time to worry about that. I hear yelling from the other room, Diana's voice. I grab them and speed back to Rofi, who seems even more frustrated now.
Babyface kid is stabbing me and can't even tell me what's wrong. I'll sue you for this, I swear to God.
Oh, give it a rest, Diana. How many times have you threatened to sue me? I'm still waiting on that summons. Amazingly, that coaxes out something like a laugh.
Don't get cocky, whelp. I'll see you in court yet for what you did to my boiler.
Rofi takes the strips from me wordlessly, turning back to the angry sheep. Diana, I'm going to have to re-prick you. All trace of amusement vanishes.
For fuck's sake, again? All you're doing is sticking needles in my...
And I need to do it again because you yanked your arm away from me and we lost the blood I was going to test. His voice is slightly raised. Patience clearly running thin. Now, if you'd like me to figure out what's going on... He glares at her. And not have me stick you a third time, I need you to work with me here. Diana shoots a venomous look at the dog, but stays quiet. He sets the monitor next to her, then sticks her again. Okay, stay still. He quickly captures the drop of blood with a paper strip, then inserts it into the machine. Seconds tick by like eternities, and then... 20. Bingo, hypoglycemic. Ooh. Theo, clearly following Rofi more than I am, holds up an open juice box. Here, Diana, drink this. He holds a straw up to her mouth and she starts sipping it. My eyes can't help but stick to the expiration date printed on the back. 3 months ago. Can't really worry about that right now either. To be fair, the juice box might as well be wine. The dog explains to us as she finishes the juice box, arm still shaking aggressively. Severe low blood sugar can trigger seizure activity in the brain. It's one of the first things we test when a seizure happens because it's easily fixed. And those kinds of seizures tend to respond really quickly to sugar. He continues holding the sheep's arm. The movements should start to slow down soon. Diana, are you feeling any better? Through gritted teeth, she gets out a response.
No. You should have called the damn hospital.
I remember you telling me not to. Let's just wait a little while longer. Here, have another juice box. You should start responding soon. All eyes are on Diana now, everyone waiting with bated breath as she finishes the second box. Rofi's eyes are glued to the clock hanging on her wall, paw still on Diana's seasoned arm. Rofi? He doesn't hear me, though we're next to each other. Rofi, what? Theo, what mess did you grab? The fox startles, clearly having wandered off into his own thoughts. It's diazepam. Dosage? Theo fiddles with the bottle. 1 milligram. Give me 2, please. The dog holds out his paw and receives the medication. Diana, if your arms continue shaking for another minute, I'm going to have you take your sleeping medication. It should help, but it'll also make you feel really drowsy. Nothing from her. Just a look that could freeze lava. The next minute crawls slower than ever. Every single tick of the second hand marked by Rofi's flinty eyes. Then, he reaches for more juice, leaving her arm to shake. Alright, I need to administer this. Diana, can you take these meds? She reaches out with her third arm and starts to grab the pills. Wait. Theo reaches out physically and stops her. Oh yeah, she was drinking. Oh wait, they are calming down. I think they're calming down. Hold on just a moment, Diana. Rofi freezes, then draws his attention back to her arm. Even to my untrained eye, it looks improved. Just a small tremor remains. He makes eye contact with the old you. Do you feel better, Diana? Are you feeling okay?
Sure, maybe, I guess. A little.
We remain silent, completely unconvinced.
Yes, alright, yes, I feel better.
Good. Rofi slips the meds back into the bottle with a clatter. I'm sorry, Theo, you were right. The improvement is marked.
Maybe I should take the meds anyway?
I can see her eye in the bottle. No, I'd rather not administer them to you if I don't have to. You've been drinking quite a lot. She bristles, though clearly some of the fight has left her after the episode.
And? I've been drinking longer than you have been alive.
Rofi hesitates. Do you often take these while under the influence?
Like I said, I'm not some idiot child. I know my limits.
Okay, never mind. She's as venomous as ever. Rofi sighs softly and slips the benzos into his pocket. Okay, well, we can talk about that later. Your seizures seem to have subsided at least. Theo clears his throat. In that case, we need to prepare to head out. The Robinsons are waiting. Alright, I'm going to stay here with you, Diana.
What a trait.
Leo, can you gather up her medical stuff? Yeah, I'm on it.
You there, Spotty. Hold on a moment.
She snaps at me. Oh, Spotty?
There's a beaded purse on my nightstand that I need.
Only if it's small. We can always come back to get whatever else you need later. I nod at Theo and head out. The old lady's nightstand is a mess of choked ashtrays and moldy old cups. Her purse sits proudly in the center, half open. A mostly empty pack of cigarettes clearly visible inside. Oh, this is why she needed it. Whatever, if it gets her out the door. I grab the bag, more than happy to leave this stinking cluttered bedroom. When I return to the living room, the other two have already drawn Diana on her slippered feet. You really don't have any other shoes?
Not without holes. It's fine, I got no feeling in my feet anyway.
That's not a good thing. They'll do. She won't have to set foot in the snow.
What do you mean?
We've been over this, Diana. I'm carrying you.
Like hell you are!
You can hardly stand. Clearly, even Rofi's monumental patience is starting to wear thin. There's feet of snow out there, and a gust of wind can knock you over. Theo is going to carry you, and the more you struggle and argue, the more likely he is to drop you. So if you don't want to be dropped...
Shut my mouth, huh? That's what you're telling me?
She cackles, and for whatever reason, her eye zeroes in on me.
Do yourself a favor, kid. Don't get old. When you reach my age, you don't got no choices anymore. Doesn't matter what you want, doesn't matter how you feel. Can't even freeze to death in your own home.
No, I'm afraid not. Rofi interjects gently. Not while we're around. She laughs again.
Well then, you may as well get on with it. Take what's left of my dignity. See if I give a shit.
Do you always have to be so dramatic, Diana? She delivers Theo another steel-cutting look.
That's fucking hilarious coming from you, Theodore Donovan. You better not drop me, or I promise this time I really will see you in court.
Leo, could you get the door for us? Of course. I hold the door open, wind tear a new breath into the musty apartment, as Theo bends down and scoops up the old woman with surprising ease. She must weigh almost nothing. Here, Theo, right this way. I'll try to clear more of a path for you. Oh, they did it! Together, we guide Theo outside and out around the house. The driveway is mostly clear, courtesy of Hunter, Artemis, and Ollie, who start to work twice as hard shoveling when they see us. I nod once at Ollie and thanks. He smiles. Theo takes every step with diligence and heavy certainty, eyes and limbs locked in tight focus. As he passes me, I sneak a glance at Diana. The old sheep looked smaller than ever, with her slight clothes pulled tightly around her, her one good eye buried in Theo's chest. Her milky right eye stares upwards into the yellowing dawn. Seeing what? I could not say. And at the head of the procession is Rofi, checking every step, leading Theo forward while keeping a close eye on his patients. After a collection of tense forevers, Theo mounts the steps at number 30, and Rofi pulls the door open. Wordlessly, I follow them into the warmth of the house. Jesus Christ, this is a long playthrough. I should have stopped, like before we were about to head out. I didn't realize this was going to take a long time. But you know what? And I believe that's where we're going to left off on. I don't know how much more I have. I don't know how much longer I have with this route. It says it's the longest route to date. I have no idea, like, how long I have. I don't know if it's going to be, like, Theo's situation where I just spent a huge chunk of it on the first part, and then the second part was only a little bit left. But this gameplay is getting too long, and I'm gonna need some, like, breathing room. But yeah, oh my god, a lot has happened. What the fuck? We just had a whole moment. So, is the Diana heist going to be, like, a return thing with all the routes? Because if so, I'm curious as to how each of those routes will play out. Well, I have heard that Theo's route is going to be updated next, so I'm particularly excited about that. But I'm excited to continue this in the next part, so thank you all so much for clicking on this video. If you enjoyed watching it, you give it a like, and subscribe if you're really interested. I'll leave links to the game in the game page in the description below if you want to support them on those platforms. I'll also leave links to my Twitter and Blue State if you want to support me on those platforms as well. I'll also leave links to the Promises to Keep playlist if you want to go watch it from beginning to end. And as always, I'll leave a link to the visual novel me and my dear friend Xeno Red Panda made for the Furry game jam called When You're Mine. Please don't show us support for it. If you do enjoy it, maybe consider rating it on itchio and commenting on it. We love reading those, it makes our day. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!